In theaters now from director and star Dev Patel is the Indian-based action explosion Monkey Man. It's not about a member of the 60s TV turned real rock group The Monkees when they would put on capes and fly. It's not about what Fred Williamson refers to somebody in From Dusk Till Dawn. This is about Dev Patel, who is a young man living in India, dirt poor, working his way up through this high-end restaurant nightclub empire with ties to crime, trying to get revenge. This is a revenge thriller. It's easy to call this the Indian John Wick. It's not really that, but it's kind of got that feel at times. And it is intense action, and it's an English language film. Some of it is not in English and is subtitled, but the majority of the film is in English. But it's like mixing American and Indian style. Unfortunately, mixing the worst aspects of American style. So Dev Patel is great. I like him. He clearly has trained hard to be able to do action fight choreography in this film. And first film as a director. Interesting cast. We have Sharlto Copley, who you recognize from various films, and Pitobash, if you like Indian films, like I like Indian films, and a lot of predominantly Indian cast. And the story, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, the basic story. We see through flashback and in the opening, Patel's character is a very young boy living with his mother. Something extremely bad happens where bad guys, military guys, come into his village and just basically wipe everybody out, and he manages to survive. And that is the grudge that he is acting upon in this film, working his way up through this organization that is somehow connected to the people who did that to try to take them out, take them down, bring them to justice. And yeah, I mean, it's an action movie. You don't need a lot of plot. I don't require a lot of plot in an action movie. I just require action that I can see and visually comprehend. That's the problem with Monkey Man. You can't see what's going on. I hate what has become of action cinema since the 90s, where somehow the idea that shaking the camera and not being able to see what's going on is somehow exciting. It's not. It's frustrating, it's annoying, and it's a waste of time. I always say it's like going to an opera and you can't hear any of the vocals. It's like watching an adult film and all the sex scenes are in the dark or completely out of focus. That's kind of why I'm here. So Monkey Man just made me mad because I went to see it at a nice Dolby Cinema, nice seats, nice image quality, nice everything. And the camera is everywhere. The camera is all over the place constantly. It's half out of focus. It's one of those movies where I say it's in focus as often, it's out of focus as often as it's in focus. It's cameras shaking, cameras too close. The edits are all over the place. And what makes me so mad, I have tremendous respect for stunt performers and actors who do stunts and fight choreography and fight choreographers and stunt coordinators and all those people who do amazing things and put their lives at risk to be cool. Not to be cool, but to create things that look cool on screen, to make actors look good, to do things that make us amazed. When directors and cinematographers and editors choose to do everything they can to not let you see all of that good work, it makes me a little mad. And the end of this film should have been this amazing action extravaganza with cool touches of Indian culture and traditional battle garments and all kinds of things. And it's just a mess. I couldn't tell you much about anything that happened in any action sequence. You talk about a Jackie Chan movie, and you're like, oh my God, the thing he did with the bottle, the thing he did with the refrigerator, the thing he did with the ladder, that one move he did. Modern action cinema, there's none of that. The John Wick movies do that. John Wick Part 4, or Chapter 4, whatever it was called, I think is one of the greatest action movies ever made. And you see everything that goes on, and you're stunned, and you're wowed, and you're just like, I want to rewind and see that again. With a movie like Monkey Man, you want to rewind it so you can try to figure out what even went on, because it so throws away what goes on. Yes, you can see that people are fighting, but I can't be impressed by the idea that people are fighting. I want to see what they're doing. And I can see that there was good action choreography, but the camera is always cutting away before the impact. The camera is always moving away before you see what you're supposed to see. And it's just a total waste of time. There's a lot of people out there right now calling this movie a masterpiece. I could be rude, but let me just say that if I do a magic trick where I say, hey, look, I have a hat. Hey, look, now that hat's a mouse. I've just cheated my audience. If you think that was amazing, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you had a great time. But these action movies that totally blow it and people are impressed by it, guess what? We're going to keep getting crappy action movies. You go to see terrible horror films that are awful, they're going to keep making, if that's apparently what the standard is, they're going to keep making them. So I'm always going to rant and rave, sorry gang, about action movies that are just poorly made. And this was a poorly made action movie. I am impressed that Dev Patel was able to pull this off, was able to make a movie. I mean, certainly it wasn't just like two guys in a warehouse. I mean, there was a lot that went into this movie. It has that lame orange and teal color palette. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. That's been a scourge of cinema for a while, but which just makes everything look the same. I really didn't like Monkey Man, and I went in really wanting to like Monkey Man. I love Indian movies. I go to see every Indian movie I can in the theater, and the thing about Indian movies, they know how to shoot action. For the most part, it's very rare, but that I see it, that where they don't, they have amazing action choreography. That's what I point people to now, who used to love Hong Kong films when Hong Kong was setting the standard for what action films should be. They don't do that so much anymore because they've aped American styles or lack thereof. Now I look toward Indian cinema. I'm like, that's where you want to go for the kung fu. And with the kung fu, you also get singing, dancing, romance, comedy, and drama. So this movie doesn't emulate the Indian style at all. It just happens to be set in India. It's being given a lot of respect for bringing Indian culture, history, and tradition into the storyline, which I greatly respect. I'm all for multicultural film, multicultural action stars. Give me as many good action stars in movies as I can, but let me see the action, please. So, you can see it if you want to. A lot of people think it's great, but it's out in theaters now. Monkey Man.